ABC-7 remembers all those who brought honor to our nation with their sacrifice.
This is the news leader. Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning. It's 5 a.m. Channel 7 is back on the air. A smoky fire on the Eyewitness News set left us in the dark last night, but we are so happy to be back with you this morning. 5 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Lori Stokes.
And I'm Jeff Rosen. Thanks for joining us. It's been a rough night here.
It has been a very half-hour fire in the Eyewitness News studio knocked WABC off the air for 2 hours last night.
There has been a lot of work overnight. People have been all over the place in this building. We are back on the air, and we have two reports this morning on the fire. Let's begin with Lisa Colagrassi. She's actually just outside our studio downstairs on the Upper West Side. Hi, Lisa. How does it look in there?
It looks pretty bad, I got to tell you, and the smell is awful, but the crews are working so diligently to try and get all of this mess cleaned up. You know, we were just minutes before our 11 o'clock broadcast last night. The anchors were on the set, the studio crew in place, when suddenly they heard a loud pop, then fire.
Come on, bro, let's get out of here.
The fire broke out in Channel 7's main studio just before our 11 p.m. newscast. A studio light burst, setting fire to a large stage curtain.
We noticed a flame about 4 or 5 feet high. We alerted everybody that there was a fire, and within 30 seconds it had gone right up to the ceiling and started curving over the roof.
There was no question. Everyone had to get out right away.
And as soon as he said we got a fire going, all of a sudden it just went boom. And the whole thing, I just looked at the back of the set. It must have been 10, 15-foot flames that were just flying right up to the ceiling.
Firefighters moved in as the set burned and smoke filled the building. The evacuation went quickly, but as the last of the Eyewitness News staff made it to the street, it got ugly. Smoke in the lobby was thick enough to blind you and choke you. Firefighters went to oxygen as they headed in the door. They quickly vanished in the smoke.
Do not stay on the sidewalk in front of the glass. If they break it, you're done, man.
Columbus Avenue and the rest of the streets around the ABC complex were clogged with fire trucks, traffic, and bystanders. There was extensive damage to the station's new high-definition news set, but there were no injuries to any of the staff. As firefighters moved through the building after the fire, they found carbon monoxide levels dangerously high.
My last readings were over 400 parts per million.
What's the safe reading?
10.
Now, we have been given the all clear now. I'll tell you what, initially they thought that it was these studio lights, that a bulb burst, but the stagehands tell me all of these bulbs are intact. So now they're thinking that an electrical box on the back side of the wall here started the fire. The flames went shooting all the way up the wall and over top of the set. So you can see inside where the anchors sit, the desk is actually intact, but you can see all of the damage. The city skyline that was behind the set, it is destroyed. And they are working so hard to get all this water. I mean, there is just, everything. It's just a mess down here. Just all kinds of burnt wires. And actually, we're getting water now coming from the ceiling. We're getting water coming from the ceiling now. It's just awful down here. I don't know. It's just a mess.
So, Lisa, what, that's still remnants from the sprinkler system, or that's just because of the damage that was done there?
I think so. I mean, everything is now so compromised in terms of, everything is so saturated and there's still a lot of smoke. It really is in such a weakened condition, all of this area here. And you can see, look at this huge pile of just wood, and the whole back wall is just gone. I mean, when you see how extensive this was, we are so fortunate no one was hurt. With that many people in the studio and ready to go on the air, we are just so thankful none of our staff was hurt.
And then I guess so many people don't know that on the other side of our studio is the studio for Regis and Kelly. That was not affected at all, correct? Except for the smell, obviously, and the stench that's there.
And a lot of water. A lot of water, and you've got some debris over there. So they're cleaning up over there, too.
And it's important to know
this whole first level is a mess.
And really, the fire was down there on the first level. This is a 6-story building. I'm told even on the 6th floor, you can actually smell the smoke. It billowed in the atrium. I mean, that's how bad it smells. And even here in the newsroom, it smells a little bit as well.
Right. We had to open up all the offices so that they could start to air out to some degree. Even the clothes, a lot of us keep our clothes in our offices as well, and you can smell them, in there as well. Good news, of course, Lisa, that no one was hurt in all this.
Right.
All right. Thanks, Lisa.
Be careful of that water that's falling as well. I know that they have given the all clear for that studio area. That's why we're able to broadcast from there. And it is important to mention that after the fire was under control, we got that all clear that no one was hurt. Our priority shifted a bit to getting back on the air.
That's right. Eyewitness News reporter Ken Rosado has that part of the story. Ken?
And Lori and Jeff, good morning to you and good morning, everyone. Take a look at what happens when fire spreads quickly. In spite of the fact that this is a sprinklered building, look at these huge beams charred all the way through. It's amazing to see how quick the destruction occurred. Now, the amazing thing also is that we have some very, very good engineers who worked very, very hard and got us back on the air.
Viewers tuning in saw a black screen or color bars for roughly 2 hours last night. As workers evacuated the building, the main concern after the safety of all employees was getting the station back up and running.
We're working with our network right now and trying to link up our control rooms. And once we're able to link up our control rooms, we already have a place for our employees to work, and we already have a place for our talent to broadcast from. We're just trying to work out the engineering facilities, and then hopefully we'll be up and running soon.
Getting back on with the studio underwater and the newsroom filled with smoke was no easy task.
You go downstairs and ask the chief and get the air back on.
A lack of air conditioning to keep the equipment cool was a main concern. Engineers worked with Channel 7 management to make sure turning on any of the critical broadcast equipment would not cause further damage.
You're going to 3, go with him.
3.
You're going to 4, go with him.
Eyewitness News producers, writers, and editors were all allowed back in the building around 2 a.m., even though the smell of smoke hung in the air.
Hey, do you guys have anything up, like a West Coast feed, East Coast feed, anything we can take at the moment?
At that same time, engineers were able to patch through the West Coast feed so that programming returned to the airwaves.
Now, in its most simple form, television is just a camera, microphone, person speaking to you, and a way of transmitting the signal. In the event that something goes wrong again, like last night, well, we have this outside, our satellite truck here. So if we had to, we could just take the camera you're looking at me with, this old cord here that I'm holding in my hand, this microphone, plug right into that, and we get on the air. That's the way you got to do it. Dirty and simple when you have to. Again, thank goodness nobody was hurt in the process, and we are on the air. Thank you for watching. That's it from here. We're live on the Upper West Side outside Channel 7 studios. Ken Rosato, Channel 7. Back to you guys.
Ken, thank you. And bravo to all of our employees, the engineers who've been running around getting this done. It's amazing that just a few hours ago the place was on fire, and now here we are sitting in broadcasting.
So much hard work. In fact, I heard that Kenny, our news director, Plotnick, had said we will go on the air even if we had to broadcast from the sidewalk, reflective of just what Ken was saying 2 seconds ago.
That's Kenny. And that's what we do.
Right.
That's what we do, though.
You are so right, and that is Kenny, indeed.
In case you are wondering about the rest of our programming all day, not just Eyewitness News, we should tell you it should not be affected. Everything should air as scheduled today. And again, thanks again to all of our engineering staff for making that happen.
All right.